Sorry. Yeah, so I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So today I'm going to teach couple of things. Let's say for example, we are going to see what are Linux, what are command line, what are terminals and all, and what are the basic Linux command line that we use to handle couple of data. And for the upcoming classes, we are going to see most of the advanced command line, which is used to handle the genomics data that we have to focus on. Because at the end, in the field of bioinformatics or computational biology, you're going to encounter with couple of data, that is, let's say VCF data, data, FASTQ data. For that handling, we need some advanced command line that we are also going to cover. So starting with the Linux system. So Linux, what exactly it is? It is basically an operating system like we have the Windows operating system. Same way we have the Linux, which is an open source operating system. And the advantage of using Linux system is basically it is going to provide the Bash. Bash in the sense it is going to provide a platform where you can execute more than 200 commands. Okay, you can write the script so that you can automate the process. It means, for example, if you're going to do the same task every day, so what exactly this is going to help you? You can automate the process so that you don't have to repeat the cycle. You just have to execute a single command that will do in the entire task for you. So that is the concept of self scripting. And this Linux is basically very essential tool in the field of bioinformatics or data scientist or data research part, because it is going to help you in a couple of ways to handle the data in very simple order or structure. And this is very useful for the repetitive and the tedious work. And there are a couple of distributor in the sense, for example, if you have to purchase any water bottle, so there are many brand or company which is selling water bottles. Same thing, if you want to have this Linux system, there are many companies which is offering the Linux system, that is the Debian, Ubuntu, and maybe others are also there are other companies, other platform which is offering you the Linux system. So here I have listed two distributor which is more common and the famous one, that is Debian and Ubuntu. Now people have the Debian system or Ubuntu system to have the Linux environment. Now the very important thing is how exactly we try to communicate with the system or the machine part. So this is the example I have given here is, so in this case, Tony Stark is basically discussing something with Jarvis. So this is the display of human computer interaction that is given in the picture, but this is not the actual scenario, like how exactly we are interacting with the system. So this is the real scenario. This is us, and this is the system. It can be laptop, PC, computer, anything. So you need to tell the system what exactly you want in the format of the structure so that system can understand. It's not like that you're going to explain in a paragraph or something. Hey, I need to do this task, or I want to do this task. So you have to tell them in a order or in kind of input structure so that computer system can understand. So that particular structure we call as an input that we need to provide or feed to the system. System will try to understand your requirement or your input part. They are going to process it in the backend and they are going to generate the output so you can read the output. Whatever the task you have submitted, you will get the output for that particular task. And the platform where we write the input, that we call as a command line interface. So we need command line interface as a platform where we type command as an input so that I can send the input to the system. System will try to understand and try to generate the result in the format of output on the command line and I can read. So this is the actual interaction that we are doing with the system or the PC part. Then the next thing is, let's say for example, if you are a Windows user, how you can access the Linux environment. For that part, you need to install an application that we call Movaxta. Okay, so let's say for example, my personal laptop is also Windows. So if I have to launch the environment, Linux environment, to execute Linux command line, I need to have the Linux system. Okay, so I have two options. Either I can install Linux or I can rely on the third party application, that is the MovaXterm. If you also, for example, if you're using Windows, so you can also install MovaXterm. If you have the Linux system, you don't have to install anything. And if you have a Mac, again, you don't have to install anything because these two systems already have the inbuilt terminal. So we don't need to install anything. So if you have a Mac, you can also download this application
I can't hear you
download this
anymore.
particular. So are you able to hear me? Or do you have Mac or Linux system?
I have a Mac.
Okay, so then no issue. You can easily launch the terminal from Mac. Moving forward, now let's say we need to understand where we have to write and what we have to write. Okay. So as I was saying, when we have to execute any command, we need the command line interface, a platform where we type the commands. So I can tell the system this is the desired task I want to perform. So here one example of the command line. Okay. And we will see in more details what exactly each contents are. And I was saying, let's say for example, whenever you have to launch anything, you will see a terminal icon in your Mac system, that is the inbuilt one. You can launch it and you can execute all the command. Now jumping to this part is, whatever the information you see on the left hand side before till the dollar part, or maybe in Mac system you will see the percentage sign. Till that part we call them as a prompt. This prompt is basically going to provide the information for the system. Whatever the laptop you're going to use, that is going to provide those information and the directory you are currently working. After that, we are going to type a command, then there will be space, then there will be option, anything that has the minus symbol, which is called as an option. It means this option is associated with the command, means command can have a lot of options. It means, for example, if I have a command that is, let's say a is a command, a can has a lot of option. Okay, so let's say a has an option of minus b, a has an option of minus x, a has an option of minus y. It means I have a single command for doing three tasks with option A, B, and C. Okay, same way, RM has a different options to perform different tasks. One option is minus F. There are other options like minus R and other kind of words that we try to use. That is the part of options. Then third is basically the argument, and the fourth is the cursor part. So what exactly we're trying to do is, the entire command is RM is stand for remove, minus F stand for forcefully, and this is the argument. It means if I try to show the same thing on the system, so let's say for example I don't have the Linux system, so I have Windows, so I try to use MovaXterm to launch the environment. So I can launch the local terminal. So this is my Linux environment. Okay. So whatever these information, that is the prompt. Okay. Then I was telling that in this case, RM is a command, give space, then you can type any option that is associated with RM. So as of now, minus F means I want to remove forcefully. Now the next thing is what exactly you want to remove. That is the third argument, means you have to provide the file name, which file you want to remove. So let's say for example, I have a file abc.txt. There is a file abc.txt, or any file that you want to remove that is present within your working directory, that you have to provide. And then can you see again we have this cursor, this white box. This white box means it is expecting you. Are you done with your command? Then press enter and I'll generate the output. If not, then you can add your other arguments for the same command. Okay. So if I'm going to hit enter, let's say for example, it will jump and it is going to generate the output. So let's say for example, so this is the way to write the command. You have to write command space, options, space, and then text. That is the argument. Now, this is an exercise where we will try to figure out which is the prompt, which is the command, which is the option, and which is the argument, and which is the cursor. So if you see the first line, so in this case, what we have is till the hashtag part, dollar symbol, till the dollar symbol, this is the prompt, CD is the command, and I'm not able to see any options here because I don't see any minus symbol for any characters. It means option is not present in line 1. So we directly have the argument. So CD stand for change directory means I want to switch to different folder, and then we have the argument that is the Ruby. So this is the command means CD space and then argument we have. We don't have any options. But when you try to see the next line, this is the prompt, ls is a command, and we have an options. And when we don't have any argument or any cursors, then if you see this line, we have the prompt, we have the command, we have the options, and we have the argument. If you see this part, we have the prompt, we have the command, we have the options, we don't have any arguments. If you see this part, we have prompt, we have command, and we have argument. In this case, we just have the command and prompt. That's it. Neither we have the argument, neither we have the options. Okay, but always the command is going to start with a single command, then the structure is like a options, then you will have an argument. Argument is basically the input on which file, folder, or anything the system has to work on with this particular command. That is kind of argument you need to provide. And if you see the last line, this has the prompt and this has the cursor means it is expecting you to write something. So whenever you see this box means they are waiting. Are you going to write something? If yes, so you have to write something and then it will execute the command for you. So this is the structure to identify the command prompt options and the argument from the command line. Is it clear or any doubt?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, perfect. Now we are going to move to the basic navigation that is very important. So we were trying to discuss the CD part. Like we try to navigate to different folder. It means, for example, there is one thing that is ls. It means list out all the files and the subfolder that is present within the current working directory. So let's say if I type ls, it is going to provide I have desktop folder, I have launch folder, my documents folder, test new folder, and testing folder. Okay. So if I have to move to any of this folder, I need to use cd command means change directory. And let's say I want to move to testing folder. Hit enter. So what I did, use cd and then type the argument that is the testing folder. Okay. So same thing, you need to provide cd and the name of the folder where you want to go from the existing folder. Initially, I was in Movaxterm folder. That was my working directory and I want to move from this to this folder. So I have to use the cd command. Same thing if you want to go back. For example, now I jump to testing folder. Again, I want to go back to Movaxterm folder. I have to use cd space dot dot. And again, I am in the Movaxterm folder. Again, if I have to go, you need to write testing. So what I you can do is you can write the starting few characters and use the tab for autofill. So whenever you use tab, it is going to autofill means you don't have to write anything. You just have to write, for example, I'm going to write t, write tab. Now it is going to look for any of the folder which is starting with T and they're going to fulfill. So as of now, they have autofilled till the test part because test part is present in the two folder option. Now again, if you're going to use tab, it is going to showcase these are the two options you have that is starting with the prefix test. So are you looking to test new or testing? So again, if I just add I and use tab from the system from the keypad, it will autofill the naming convention and I can directly jump from testing folder. I can go back again using cd stop, but let's say for example, I want to jump from testing folder directly to the home folder. I don't want to go testing to Movaxterm from Movaxterm to home. So you just need to separate each folder with the forward slash and dot dot. It means I'm in the testing folder. From testing folder, I want to jump to Movaxterm first, and from Movaxterm, I want to jump to home directory. Hit enter. Now, can you see? I'm in the home directory. Same thing you can do in the forward case. I want to jump directly to the testing folder, so I can have Movaxterm and then forward slash testing folder. It means you always have to give forward slash between the folder names. Hit enter. I can directly jump from home directory to the testing folder. So now what we have covered, how we can change directory to folder X, how we can go back one directory or two directory or three directory. You just have to give dot dot forward slash. So the number of directory you have to move back, you need to provide that many, like dot dot forward slash dot dot kind of structure. ls list out files or subfolder that is present, and pwd is basically stands for path of current working directory, means what is the entire path of my working directory. If I just write pwd, it is going to provide starting from home directory till the testing path. So it is going to provide the entire path, like what is the starting point and what is the end point. That is the entire path. It is going to provide with the statement pwd command. Pwd stands for path of working directory. Now coming back to this part is, this part I have covered. You need to use tab for autofill the file or directory names. You need to separate the directory by forward slash. Then these are the two commands. You can use upward arrow from the keypad to see all the command that you have executed so far. So you don't have to rewrite. You can use upward arrow to see all the command that you ran so far. You can use history also to display all the use commands. Now these are the few patterns, or let's say characters, we are going to see. Whenever you see star mark, that is used for the pattern search. Full stop when you refers current directory. Tilde symbols home directory, and forward symbol means root directory. It means if I write cd, okay, and I write forward slash, hit enter, I can directly jump to the root directory. So whenever you are starting with the forward slash, that is the root directory. If I write cd and the tilde symbol from the keypad, hit enter, I can directly jump to the home directory. So the symbol stands for root directory and home directory. So whenever you have to switch between different directories, you can use this shortcut. Now moving forward, now I'm going to explain the Linux file system, which is very important because we have to fetch the file and we have to, let's say, use it for the further analysis. So we should know how to fetch those files. So in the Linux system, basically we have the structure like a tree. Starting with the root, that is the character that we have is a forward slash. Within the root, we have a lot of branches, and within the branches, we have a lot of sub branches. So, for example, if I show one thing, let's say if I go to, so let's say this is a directory which has a lot of files. Okay. Now let's say I can, let me see one thing. This particular file has some content. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now what I want to explain is, let's say currently you are working in this particular directory. Okay. And you want to see the content of the file that is present in this particular directory. Okay, so this file has a content that we call as, let's say, abc.txt. Okay, so this folder has a file abc.txt and I want to see. Okay, so let's say currently I'm in a C folder and I can go to the next folder, that is Asis personal, and to see the content there is a command called cat. Okay, cat, and provide the file name. So let's say I have a file abc.txt. Hit enter. If you're going to hit enter, whatever the content that is present within the files, that will come up in the console part or in the output part, that we can see abc. Okay, now this particular file has a content abc, so I was able to fetch the content from this file. But if I go and work in different directory, and if I again I execute the same command cat abc.txt, it is throwing an error, no such file or directory. So what is happening is, I'm trying to fetch this file while working in this directory. So the command is looking for this file within this particular folder. But this file is not present in this particular folder because that is present in this particular folder. So you have to tell the system is how they have to go and fetch this particular file to show the content part. Now you have to guide them. So how exactly you are going to guide them is, you are going to say cat means show the content of the file, and now I'm going to provide the entire path. Means you have to start with the root directory, that is the starting point. Then we have a drive folder, then we have a C folder, then we have a RSS personal folder, and then we have a file abc.txt. Now I'm guiding them is you have to use the same command, but you need to go to root directory, then go to, let's say, this folder, then this folder to this folder, then you will see this particular file that you have to fetch. Now I'm not getting any error. This time getting the same output. Why? Because this time my system get to know is from where I have to fetch the file and collect the details. In this case, they were trying to fetch the information from the existing directory, and because this file was present somewhere else, so that's why we were getting error. So this is the concept of the absolute path. So we have two things, absolute path and the relative path. So whenever you are working in some other folder and you want to use any file that is present in some other places or some other directory, so you have to tell the system absolute path that is starting from the root directory. But in case, let's say for example, if you have to fetch any file that is present within the folder, for example, if I have to read this file, or I have to read this file or this file that is present within the current working directory, so I don't have to provide the absolute path. I can work with the relative path. So the relative path is simple. You just have to execute the command, and then you have to provide the file. That's it. You don't have to start with root directory and then providing the entire path. So this is the relative path, and this is the absolute path. So we are providing absolute path here, and this is the relative path for fetching the file and showing the content part. So this is the concept of absolute and relative path. So any doubt so far?
What is this command that you're talking about?
Yes. Any doubt in the command, like how exactly we are fetching the absolute and the relative part?
No, I mean, I didn't understand like what the command is doing.
Okay, so let's say there is a command. So let me try to explain one more time. So cat is a command. Cat means I want to see the content of any files. So let's say in this case, I have a abc.txt file. I have variant.vcf file. If I type variant.vcf, hit enter, it is going to show the entire content that is present within the VCF file. Means cat command is used to show whatever the content that is present within the file that is going to display on the console part, or that is going to display on the screen part. So ls means list out all the files and the subfolder that is present within the current directory. Cat command, I want to see the content of any file. Then we were trying to say is, if I go back one directory, and then if I try to use the same command, the cat variants dot vcf, I was not able to generate this output. Why? Because this particular file is not present in the C directory. This particular file is present in the RSS personal folder or directory. So I have to tell the system is, this file is not present in the C directory. This file is present in this particular folder. So I have to guide them. So cat means I want to see the content. But if I have to guide them, I have to provide the absolute path. Means you need to start from the root, then there is a drive folder, then there is a C folder, then there is a assist personal folder, then you will have the variants file. So this is the thing. So I was trying to teach the concept of absolute path and the relative path, and cat is the command that is used to see the content of the file.
Yeah, now it makes sense.
Okay. Okay, now the next thing is, now we are going to execute few commands that we have. So let's say for example, in this case, we have a command like echo. So whatever the things you want to print on the screen, that we can use with the echo command. So echo is a command, and within the double quote, whatever I'm going to write, that is going to print on the screen. So let's say I'm going to write hi everyone, it is going to print on the screen. Let's say if I'm going to write, let's say okay bye and something abc and anything, whatever the thing I'm going to write within the double quote as an echo command. So echo command is simple, print the content onto the screen or on the output section. So that is the use of echo command. So same thing is written here is, You are going to use echo command, and the argument is basically the string part. So whatever the things you're going to add within the double quote, that is considered as a string. Means when I have a number, that is an integer. When you have a decimal value, that we call as a float. And whenever you add anything within the double quote, for example, if I'm going to write 3 within the double quote, that is considered as a, for example, it will be very, so yeah, this will make sense. When you have just 4, that is an integer. When you're going to have a decimal, 4.5 or something, or even let's say for example 4.0, this is a float, not an integer. And when you add double quote for like around 4, so this 4 is converted into a string or a character. So echo command, in echo command you're going to write the string part. You can write anything within the double quote that will print. So it is, the command is basically what exactly it is doing. Echo command is going to print whatever the things you're going to write in the argument section. They're going to print on the screen part that we are seeing. So in this case, whatever the thing I'm writing, I can see on the screen part. Then the next command is, so now we have to learn few shortcuts. Let's say whenever we are writing some commands, we are reaching at the end part, and sometimes it's very difficult to see the output. So we can clear the screen. So the command is clear. Hit enter. Again, you can jump to the start part, and again you can do, for example, again I can run ls. Again, I'm going at the bottom part, so I can use the clear command to clear the entire screen and go to the top of the part. So this is the one option that we have. Second thing is, I can close the session. Whenever you are done with your task, you have to close the application or you have to close the terminal. So either you have the cross symbol, or either you can write exit, and that will close the session. So there is a command to close the session, that is exit, or you can simply use the cut button or like cross symbol, that will close the session. Now let's have a quick summary, then we will move to the next topic. We have seen this command. Clear is basically to clear the screen, and exit command is basically to exit the terminal. We also have the shortcut key that you can also practice. If you don't want to type clear, you can use the shortcut Control L. If you don't want to type exit, you can use the shortcut Control D. We have seen the echo command. Now these are the 5 things that we have to think. Okay, these are very useful and very helpful. If you know these things, that is going to help you a lot. So let's say for example, I have a command. So let's say I'm going to write cat. Okay, and there is a file name, bigger file name, and txt. Then I realize I forgot to add an option with the cat command. So what we are going to do is, I'm going to use back to reach this place. Okay, and then I'm going to write some options. Let's say I'm going to write some option. Now this command is complete. So I wasted, let's say, couple of seconds to go and do back to reach to this level to add an options. Then I realized at the end part the file was not txt, it should be tsv. So again I have to do this way to reach to the end of the line and then do the correction. But let's say if you know few basic shortcut, it is going to save your time. I can use Control A to jump to the start point, and I can simply do a few back or forward and do some changes. Same thing, I can go and use Control E to jump to the end of the line and do some changes. Means I don't have to do this much. I can have Control A, Control E. Jump to the start with Control A, jump to the end with Control E. This is the two shortcut. Third shortcut is, let's say you realize, okay, I don't have to execute this command as of now. I need to execute echo command before that, let's say. So I'm not going to use this word delete like for backspace every time to delete the entire thing and then need to execute the echo command. This is going to take time. So if I have an option, this one thing, let's say, so if I have to delete the entire content, I can use Control U. Means within a second it is going to delete the entire line, and then you can type your own command or new command. So that is the shortcut of Control U. Means delete everything and jump to the beginning of the line. Control E, move to the end of the line. Control A, move to the beginning of the line. And Control C means if you're running any pipeline and your system starts hanging, you can use Control C to get out of trouble. Or for example, if the file content is too big and it is taking time to display the entire content, you can use Control C to terminate the process. Now the last command is the man command. So what exactly we have in the man command is, if I just type man command, so let's say man, and then I have to write ls. So you need to write man command and then space, and it is asking for which command you want to see the manual. So man command is basically to see the manual, how exactly we can execute each command. So this is the manual. You have to scroll to see each command. Okay, so we have all the awk command, all the Linux command and their uses. So if I show one command that we were learning, that is ls command. So this is C, then you have to scroll D, E, F, G, H, like that. Yes. So we have seen ls command. Okay. So what is the ls command? List directory contains, mean whatever the in, let's say, files or subfolder that is present, we can see it. Now this ls command has a lot of options. Can you see? It has a lot of options. Minus L, minus A, minus C, minus T. So now you can come to this manual page and try to see, because not we are not using all the options. You just have to learn and practice those options that is useful and that we are going to use on the daily basis. So let's say what I need to use is, I need to use ls. That is the one thing. Second option is ls minus l, means list out all the files in the subfolder in the long format. Okay, that is a long format. Means I have the folder name, then I have the other options or other column also. Same thing, for example, if I show the main drive where we have a lot of files. So let's say this particular thing has a lot of files. ls minus l is going to display all the files and all the columns. Now this is the column where the file size is given, but it's very difficult to read this file size, whether it is in GB or KB, because if you're not aware of that, like how many KB are there in MB, how many MB they are in GB, then what you can do is you can use ls minus l, add h option within that. So it is list out all the files in the subfolder in the long format, that is L. H stands for human readable format, means whatever the size that was given in the previous command, now I have converted into human readable format, means I can see the file size 81 MB, 4.6 KB, 2.8 MB. So I can read, because it's very difficult to read the size with this number. But now it is easy for me to read the content and the size. So these are the options. So you can always use the manual option to see what are the options, or you can also do Googles, like what are the option that is associated with the ls command and what is their use and the application. So this is the entire summary of this particular part. Now let's try to move some other command that we are going to cover. Now this is the next thing, the option of redirect operator. Now go back and let me do one thing is, I can move to some other folder. Let's say I can move to bioinfo byte. Okay, then let me clear the screen one more time and do ls. So I have these folders, whatever the folder you can see in blue, that is folder. Whatever the coloring pattern you see white and the green part, that is the files. Now let's say I don't have any folder with a naming convention ABC. What I'm going to do is, whenever you have to create any new folder, you're going to use mkdir. Mkdir stand for make directory, means make folder, and you have to provide the folder name. So let's say I can provide ABC. Hit enter, do ls. Now can you see ABC folder has created. Initially there was no folder with the name convention ABC. Now I have a folder with ABC. Okay, I have created a folder with the name ABC. Now, let's say I can go to ABC folder and do ls. So I don't have any files or any folder within the ABC folder, because this folder is a blank folder. Now we learn echo command, and within the echo command, I can write anything. and hit enter, it is going to print the content. But when you try to add the redirect operator, that is this symbol, and then if you provide something, let's say xyz.txt, hit enter. If you do ls, now this file has created. So what is happening is, this is the command where I'm saying hi all, means it is going to print hi all. But then I'm adding one more command is, this forward symbol is redirect, means whatever the content that is generating from echo command, you have to transfer this content into a new file. So what exactly they're going to do is, they're going to first create this file xyz.txt for you. Then whatever the content that is coming from echo command, they're going to transfer this content to xyz.txt file. And then when you're going to use ls command, now this xyz.txt file has been created, and I can use the cat command to see the content of this file, which has the content hi all. So this is the way we use the redirect operator. So same thing I tried to explain here is, we have echo and the argument, and I can transfer this content to any file using the redirect operator. So this symbol is the redirect operator. So they're going to create this chapter underscore 2.txt file first, and then they will transfer this content into this particular file. So this is the option and the use of redirect operator. Now we have other option is, let's say I can show. So the next few things we are going to learn is, so I just try to just highlight, we are going to cover copy command, that stands for cp is for copy. Then we are going to learn mv, that is move command. Then we are going to learn rm command, and then we are going to learn rmdir command. So these are the four commands. So let me explain each command one by one, then I can show the demo like how you can execute it. And also we will see the touch command. cp means whenever you want to copy something, because let's say in our system we try to do copy paste. Okay, so how we do it, you can open any folder, let's say for example, and if I have to copy something, let's say I try to do right click, and I try to do it copy it, and whenever I have to paste at any places, you again you need to do right click and paste it, so that you will have that particular file abc. Same thing we can do on the linux system using cp command. mv command is whenever you need to do cut paste, this is copy paste, and this is the cut paste, so there is a difference. RM is whenever you want to remove any file. RMDIR means you want to remove the directory. Means you want to delete the directory, you want to delete the folder, files and all. Touch command is basically to create the file. Okay. Now we are going to learn these things. So let's try to do one by one. So I do ls. Okay. Now I can go back and do ls. I have here abc.txt file. I can use copy abc.txt file, and I want to paste it into other folder that I have created, that is ABC folder. Hit enter. Now I can go to ABC folder and do ls. I can see two files. XYZ was the previous file, and abc.txt file I copied from the by and for byte folder and pasted in the ABC folder. So that is the use of cp command. Second command is mv command. I can go back and I can see still I have abc.txt file. Okay. But now I'm going to apply the mv command. Mv abc underscore 1.txt, and then I can have abc folder. Now do ls. Now you will not see abc underscore 1.txt file in this particular folder. But if you go to abc folder and do ls, you can see this file. So why? Because this time mv is using cut paste. They're trying to cut paste the file from the particular directory and then try to paste the location where I want to place it. So this is the use of mv command. Then the third command is rm command, means I want to delete this file. So rm, and I can delete any of the file and hit enter. Okay. Then I can go back, and when you want to delete a folder, for example I want to delete abc folder, so how you can do it? Rm minus r. So whenever you are dealing with directory, you have to use minus R option. Means I want to remove a directory recursively, because for file you don't have to use any option, but for folder you have to use minus R and then provide the folder name. Hit enter. So it is saying, for example, let's say, so if you see this particular portion, so this particular portion has this particular folder ABC. Okay, now if you go to ABC folder and do ls, and if you try to do ls minus lh, okay, so this first column is going to provide the information for the permission, because this particular thing was giving me error. It means if you have to delete anything, you have to check what kind of permission you have. Okay, so basically you can check the permission, what kind of modification I can do with these files and all. But I can, even if I hide, even let's say for example I don't have the permission, I can delete everything. So let's say for example I can delete and I can add minus f option and abc.txt. Means this was giving me issue, but I want to delete forcefully. Means I want to remove the file, but initially it was giving me error. So I added an option is you need to delete this file anyhow, that you need to do it forcefully. So you have to delete this file for me forcefully. Now if I do ls, now this particular folder does not contain any files so far. I have deleted all the files. Those files which don't require any permission, I can simply delete with rm option. But some of the files we can delete forcefully if you are going to face any issue while deleting that particular file. I can go back and I can delete this folder rm minus r and abc, hit enter, and now I have successfully deleted this abc folder that we have created while giving the demo part. So whenever you have to delete a directory, you have to use minus r option. Whenever you have to delete a file, you have to just use rm option, and minus f option you can add when you want to delete anything forcefully. So this is the thing you have to do it. So any doubt, any questions so far, anything?
No, I can understand it, but I definitely have to do it by myself to get a better idea.
Correct. So you have to practice it, and it's better to practice. I would recommend try to pick some questions. For
Okay.
example, you can try to use, let's say, chat gpt, and you can say provide me some mini project where I have to practice these commands. So they will build a
Mm,
mini project for you. This will help you to build the application and try to execute the command. This way will help you to learn the concept when we have to use rm command, when we have to use the cd command.
okay.
So this will help you. Now the last command we were discussing is the touch command. So whenever we have to create a file, because we have seen whenever I have to create a folder, we need to use mkdir. But mkdir is only to create the folder. But whenever you have to create the files, we have to use touch command. And let's say I want to use, let's say, bdz python 1.txt. So this is the file. If I do ls, I have created bdz underscore python 1.txt. So touch command is used to create a file. So let's have a quick recap of all the commands that we have covered so far. So we have used cd command to change directory. Then we have seen, let's say for example, mkdir to create the directory. Then we have seen cp command to copy. Then we have seen, let's say, mv command to cut page. Then we have seen rm command to remove files in the folder. Then we have seen the touch command to create a file. Then we have seen ls command to list out all the files in the subfolder. Then we have seen pwd command, that means print out the working directory and then the path of the working directory. Then we also have seen the echo command. So these are the basic command we have covered today: cd, mkdir, cp, mv, rm, touch, ls, pwd, and echo. So I would recommend to practice these commands, and because if you're going to practice these things, then only you will be comfortable to implement these commands. because in future when we are dealing with some kind of question or practice session,
Mhm.
so that time we have to rely on these command also. So it's good to
Okay.
practice side by side.
So you suggest that I go on ChatGPT and just ask for a project?
Yes, because let's say, for example, you can also do some Google search, but nowadays ChatGPT is there or couple of AI that is going to provide a simple workflow or simple exercise or test series for you.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll actually go ahead and do that so that then I can use whatever you taught today. Uh,
Correct, yes.
yeah.
Because, or I can, so let's say, for example, maybe I have one practice session that, so this is the exercise that is going to come at the later stage that you can practice. I'll also provide a couple of things, but side by side, while practicing this part, you can use
Mm.
ChatGPT to ask some mini projects on these commands. So they will
Okay.
help you. If you're not able to find it, just let me know so I can provide that part, but you can easily get it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can do that.
Yes. Yeah, so this is the way we are going to practice the command line for 3 sessions, and then we will jump into Python.
Okay, fine. So for now, I have to practice these commands, right?
Yes, whatever the 6 or 7 commands we have covered in today's sessions, you have to practice these things, and then we will move to some advanced command, that is the grep command, awk command, set command in the upcoming classes.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. I'll take a look and then I'll let you know if I have any questions. And
Yeah, sure. So, can I know your background, like education background and all? So it will be helpful for me to decide and cover the topics that is needed to you also.
yeah, sure. Actually, I mostly do bench work. Like I have a lot of wet lab skills, so I don't really have computational biology experience.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I wanted to actually gain some basic knowledge in programming. I thought that this would be a good chance for me to just start learning this.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, I have a master's degree in biotechnology in from California State University.
So are you in foreign or like are you in India?
No, I am currently in the US. I am a research technician at the Lawyer Institute for Immunology. So
Okay.
I do uh, research on immunological diseases and yeah, basically working with the graduate students and the postdocs.
Okay, got it. So you did your bachelor's in from India.
Yeah, bachelor's in India, and then I worked in India for a few years, and then I moved to US, and I did my master's here, and then now I've been working here in the uh, lab.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so
So
yeah,
I've
yeah, I would recommend, for example, after this workshop, there are a couple of other skill set. If you are planning to switch to computational field, let's say, for example, bioinformatics domain, where you want to do every stuff
mm,
from your system, or let's say, so there are a couple of skills that you have to improve. So I can suggest a couple of other skill set resources you can practice at your own end.
yeah, I think the NGS workflow is something that I'm really interested in the
So
future.
for that part, you first need to be a little bit pro in the Linux system and the coding part. That is going to help you to analyze any kind of data.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, because in the NGS part also you have to execute the application of the package through the command line. For example, if you have to do alignment, you have to do QC. So you have to execute some command there also.
Okay, sure.
So that's why it is very important to practice these commands so that you will feel comfortable. Okay, this is the question, this is the task, and I just have to execute the command. I just want to know, or I just have to know, okay, this is the command, this is the options, or this is the argument that I have to feed to get the result. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the entire thing. Yeah, so any question, anything?
Yeah, sure. As of now, I can go back and practice, and then I can let you know if I have any more questions.
Okay. So I feel like for you 10 or 10:30 is okay also.
Yeah, the time. Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, okay, sure.
Okay,
Because
so
there
I
is some
will.
like sometimes there is some overlapping with my like own work meetings. So
Yeah, I mean, it should be fine now. This timing that we started today, it should work, or even 10:30 is also fine. Yeah.
Yeah, because initially my office meeting was at, let's say for example, uh, at 12 or 11:30 p.m. or 12 a.m.,
Mhm.
but now it is shifted to 9:30.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. 10:30 works for me.
Okay, okay, then I'll check with the next person also if 10:30 is okay for her also. So we will stick with 10:30 then.
Okay, for the rest of the session.